Art MF says whole life insurance seems like a much better deal for the insurance agent than the client. Thoughts? That is the traditional thinking. And actually, the way that most agents design their whole life policies, that would be true. That would be true. However, the way that I design these policies, we design them to minimize the cost of the insurance, maximize the cash value. The amount of commission that I make on a whole life policy compared to a traditional design is probably about a tenth of what the commission could be. And all of the benefits of that go to cash value available in year one and greater cash value and death benefit throughout the rest of the life of the policy. These policies tend to break even, so you have more money available in the policy due to the policy performance by year 4 or 5. That's what we typically see. Now that's going to depend on which product you choose, which carrier you go with, and your health rating that you're going to get, and how you fund these policies. I mean, how you fund these policies makes a big difference. But with the proper design, these policies are beneficial for pretty much everybody. There's a place in nearly everybody's portfolio for something like this. It's not an investment, so don't take it from folks who try and play it off as some type of an investment. It's more like a savings asset. It's a place to store your money where you need it to be ready for emergencies, where you're saving it before deploying it into other investments, or paying major expenses like capital expense account, making quarterly taxes or yearly taxes. Someplace where it does a better job than just sitting in a checking or savings account. Not just doing a better job, but it does multiple jobs. So your money is able to do multiple jobs. Not only does it grow and it's there, it's available for you to deploy it when you need it, but it's also providing a death benefit. And so it's serving a need in your future life. I mean, it's serving a need for your future self and your beneficiaries. So yeah, definitely check out my videos on it. It'll open your eyes. So if you're under the impression, maybe you're a Dave Ramsey fan, and typically listen to his type of advice, or really there's a lot of financial gurus out there that really poo-poo whole life insurance, and I don't blame them, because basically if you're talking about a traditional design, they're terrible. The design is terrible. You pay a lot of money for insurance, and it takes a long time to really pay for itself. So, so you say it's pricey versus term insurance. That's where I disagree as well. So think about, okay, that explains it. So Dave Ramsey, great for a lot of things. I think he bought a terrible policy, and it's colored his perception of insurance ever since then. Term insurance is a straight expense. It only costs you money. So you have 30-year term insurance. If you get a hefty policy, maybe it costs you 30 grand at the end. Well, if you survive past it, what do you have to show for it? You don't have anything to show for it. It did one job, and that job was to provide you with a death benefit during that time, which is good. There's a need for that. I'm not saying there's not a need for that. But with a properly designed whole life insurance policy, not only will you have way more cash value available to you at the end of those 30 years, you'll continue to have insurance for the rest of your life, and you'll be able to have a policy that you can access it. You can have a cash value growth that you can access. So it's not like you're just spending money and not getting anything for it. You're getting a death benefit, and you're getting a product that you can access the cash value if needed. In fact, it works just like a line of credit. And so that's why you see all of these things out there called becoming your own banker, or infinite banking, or be your own banker. A lot of people are using these policies like a line of credit to get the banks out of their life. And anytime you're borrowing against your policy, it doesn't stop the growth. So you have a compounding growth that's guaranteed by contract that you don't get anywhere else. So you're not going to get a 4% guaranteed growth in a savings account, or a checking account, or a money market account, or a CD account. You don't even get it in bonds these days. So it's really hard to find anything that can match that for the guarantees. And not only that, but beyond the guarantees, you become an owner of the company when we use mutual companies, which is what we use for this. But you become an owner of the company. And as an owner of the company, you now get dividends. And you got to realize you're buying into companies that are 150 plus years old that have paid dividends out that whole time. So they're well-managed companies, companies you would want to own long-term. A lot of good benefits to this. If you invest in any dividend-paying stocks out there, are any of those dividend-paying stocks contractually obligated to pay you 4% at least each year, or higher if the dividend is higher? Do any of them provide you with a death benefit on top of that? Likely not. So there's a lot of reasons that that these things are great, and I don't fault anybody for not knowing this, because basically these things don't get talked about enough. You have to stumble across them in order to really, if you're not searching for it in particular, you got to stumble across it and then kind of catch enough that maybe you decide to take a trip down the rabbit hole and get beyond all of the messaging out there that is designed to lead you away from it. So yeah, definitely a good opportunity for it. It doesn't mean, I wouldn't tell anybody to put all of their money into one of these policies, because that's not necessarily the best use of these things for everybody. Some people want to do that. I'm trying to do that. I want to funnel all of my income through these policies, like the way Nelson Nash did it in his Infinite Banking book and in his life. When he passed away, he had 44 different policies, and he put them to good use. I'm going to be doing something similar to that. So anyways, but that's not something that I advocate everybody to do. There's really a portion, there's a place in everybody's portfolio that it can serve a purpose. I view whole life insurance as a solid part of the base of anybody's financial pyramid. Along with all the other types of insurance. Insurance serves a really important part of a base for everybody's financial pyramid. And that base is there so that your financial pyramid doesn't topple over. A lot of people end up not building the base properly, and they end up inverting it and going into high risk investments first. And of course, if you're trying to balance on the end of a pyramid, that can of course topple over. So I go into that in more detail in one of my videos about the wealth pyramid. So feel free to check that out. All right, let me see what you guys have been talking about in here. That was great. That was great. Great comments. I'm glad it led me on down that. Hopefully you get some. Hopefully you get a little value out of that, and it engages you enough to look into it a little bit more. Happy to chat with you anytime about it too. But I would highly recommend watching some of my videos first, because if you just meet with me in one of my 20-minute consultations, it's like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much information that we could go over, like a lot of what I just put out. You're not going to be able to absorb it. You're not going to be able to absorb it all. So it's a lot easier if you get caught up on some of the videos first. This was a question asked and answered during one of our Wealth Care Wednesdays live streams. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below, or join us on one of our Wealth Care Wednesday live streams where you can ask the question and we'll answer it on the air live. I hope you found value in today's video. If you'd like to find out more about IUL and whole life, check out these videos right over here, and we'll see you next time. Now go maximize your cash flow.